Ever tried parallel parking, but like on Mars, and with a 20-minute delay before you see if you hit anything?
Oh, that sounds, stressful.
It's the kind of challenge NASA faces all the time. Luckily, AI is becoming their secret weapon for navigating the cosmos.
AI is really changing the game, that's for sure.
For today's deep dive, we're looking at Jay Poole's breakdown of how NASA is using AI.
From his Tech Frontiers YouTube channel, right?
Yep. He gets into some pretty mind-blowing stuff. By the end of this, you'll be able to impress your friends with how AI is helping us figure out, like, the secrets of the sun, and even grab pieces of asteroids.
The stuff of science fiction becoming reality.
Exactly. So we'll cover some of the big challenges of space exploration, like the crazy distances, the insane amount of data they collect.
And you can't forget about those harsh environments.
Totally. Plus, you always have to factor in the human element.
For sure. It's complex stuff.
Then we'll see how AI is tackling these hurdles and look at some real missions where it's already making a difference.
Should be fascinating.
So first up, let's talk distance and communication. I mean, space is huge, GE.
Mind-bogglingly huge.
Voyager 1, which launched way back in '77, is now over 15 billion miles away.
Wow. I can't even imagine.
It takes over 22 hours for signals to travel between us and Voyager 1. That's longer than a whole day.
Makes you appreciate your internet speed a little more, huh?
Right. And even Mars, which is relatively close, has about a 20-minute signal delay.
So trying to control something in real time is pretty much impossible.
Exactly. So how do you deal with that?
Well, this is where AI steps in to make things, well, more autonomous.
Like the spacecraft needs to make some decisions on its own.
Exactly. Imagine a rover on Mars, and suddenly there's a dust storm or a big rock in its path.
Oh, that's a problem.
Waiting 20 minutes for instructions from Earth, that could be disastrous for the mission.
So the rover needs to react, like, right away.
Exactly. And that's where AI comes in. It can analyze data from the rover sensors, assess the situation, and decide how to respond based on, well, pre-programmed stuff and what it's already learned.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
It's essential for these kinds of missions.
Okay, so distance and communication, check. Next up, let's tackle the data deluge. Space missions generate mountains of information, images, sensor readings, you name it.
It's crazy. We're talking terabytes and terabytes of data coming in from spacecraft and telescopes.
It would take forever for humans to go through all of it.
Yeah, it would be an impossible task, like finding a needle in a haystack. No, wait, more like a specific grain of sand on a beach.
Good analogy.
Thanks. But seriously, that's where AI shines. It can sift through this data so much faster than humans ever could. It finds patterns, spots anomalies, things we might miss.
So the scientists can focus on the most important findings.
Exactly. AI speeds things up, helps us make discoveries faster.
Not replacing humans, but working alongside them.
Exactly. It's a powerful tool to help us understand all that data.
Now let's get real about the challenges of space itself. The environment is, well, intense is an understatement.
Definitely. We're talking extreme temperatures, radiation, the vacuum of space.
It's tough out there,
to say the least.
So how do spacecraft survive that? Jay Poole mentioned that AI plays a role here too.
Absolutely. It helps optimize the design of spacecraft, how they operate, even helps them adapt to those harsh conditions.
That's wild.
Imagine AI analyzing data from the spacecraft systems, finding potential problems before they even happen.
Like a built-in early warning system.
Exactly. It can even suggest adjustments to make things run smoother, more efficiently.
Keeps the mission going longer, hopefully.
Exactly, like having a constant checkup, making sure everything is working as it should.
It's amazing.
It's incredible what AI can do.
But of course, we can't forget the most unpredictable factor of all.
Oh, you mean?
Humans. Sending people into space adds a whole other level of difficulty.
It definitely does. The human body, as resilient as it is also quite sensitive.
All that time in microgravity, the radiation, the isolation.
It takes a toll, both physically and mentally.
So how can AI help with all of that?
Well, think of it as having a virtual doctor on board, constantly monitoring the astronaut's health and well-being.
Makes sense.
Sensors can track all sorts of things, from heart rate to sleep patterns, even stress levels, and then AI steps in to analyze all that data.
Looking for any red flags, basically.
Precisely. If something seems off, it can alert mission control right away.
So AI isn't just about spacecraft and data, it's about keeping the astronauts safe too.
It's becoming an essential part of human spaceflight. It really is amazing how AI can be applied to, something so personal as an astronaut's well-being. But it goes beyond just monitoring their health, right? It's also expanding what we can even DO in space.
That's a perfect transition to, well, some real-world examples. Jay Poole talks about a few missions where AI is already making a big difference.
Oh yeah, there are some good ones.
Like OSIRIS-REx, the mission to grab a sample from an asteroid.
Ah, Bennu. That was impressive. Landing on an asteroid millions of miles away, that's not exactly a walk in the park.
It sounds like something straight out of a movie. What did AI do to make that happen?
Well, for one thing, it helped with navigation. Bennu is, well, it's pretty small and kind of oddly shaped.
Not like landing on a planet with a nice flat surface.
Exactly. Plus, you have that communication delay, remember? So, real-time control from Earth, not really an option.
So the spacecraft had to kind of figure things out on its own.
In a way, yeah. That's where the AI comes in. OSIRIS-REx used a system called Natural Feature Tracking, NFT for short.
NFT. Okay, what's that all about?
Basically, it gives the spacecraft the ability to see and understand its surroundings. It uses cameras to take pictures of the asteroid's surface.
Okay, I'm following.
And it compares those pictures to, like, a 3D map of Bennu that it has stored in its memory. AI algorithms then analyze everything, identify landmarks, figure out exactly where the spacecraft is and which way it's pointing.
So it's like the spacecraft is constantly checking its map and adjusting its course.
Exactly. And it does all this by itself, without any help from us back on Earth.
That's incredible. But, Bennu's surface is pretty rocky and unpredictable. What happens if there's a sudden obstacle or the terrain changes unexpectedly?
Well, the AI is designed to, think on its feet, make decisions in real time based on what it's seeing.
Oh.
Say it spots a hazard during its descent. It can actually adjust its trajectory to avoid a collision all on its own.
Wow. So it really is making decisions.
It has to. For missions like this, that kind of autonomous decision-making is crucial.
And in the end, OSIRIS-REx got that sample right.
It did. A perfect example of AI in action and what it can achieve.
Pretty amazing.
And that's just one example. Jay Poole also highlights the Parker Solar Probe. That mission is getting closer to the sun than we've ever been before.
Oh, yeah, the Parker Solar Probe. It's studying the sun's corona, which is, what, millions of degrees?
Millions of degrees Fahrenheit, yeah. And intense radiation. It's a brutal environment.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster. How does it even survive? And what does AI have to do with it?
The probe has this incredible heat shield, protects the instruments from those crazy temperatures, but the AI, well, it's constantly monitoring the probe's position.
Making sure it doesn't get fried, basically.
You got it. Making tiny adjustments to keep that heat shield facing the sun.
Like a never-ending game of don't get burned.
Pretty much. But it's not just about keeping the spacecraft safe. AI is also crucial for collecting data about the sun.
How so?
Well, the probe's instruments have to be exposed to the corona to do their job, right? To measure things like magnetic field, plasma, all that good stuff.
Right.
But too much exposure and, well, they're toast.
So it's a balancing act. Get the data, but don't let the instruments get fried.
Exactly. And AI is the perfect tool for that kind of delicate maneuver. It analyzes all the data from the sensors, adjusts the probe's position, makes sure the instruments get just the right amount of exposure.
So AI is like the conductor of this whole intricate dance between the spacecraft and its instruments.
That's a great way to put it. It's maximizing the science while also keeping the mission alive.
AI is really pushing the boundaries of what we can do in space, isn't it? It's not just about crunching numbers anymore. It's about making decisions, adapting to the unexpected, even keeping these spacecraft from, well, melting.
It's an exciting time to be following space exploration, that's for sure. And AI is right at the heart of it.
It's clear that AI is already doing some pretty incredible things. And from what Jay Poole talks about, it seems like we're just scratching the surface.
Oh, absolutely. AI technology is constantly evolving, so as it advances, we can expect even more, I guess you could say, mind-blowing applications.
I'm curious to hear, what are some of the potential future applications that you find particularly intriguing?
That's a good question. One area that I think has a lot of potential is, well, autonomous exploration. Like, imagine sending probes to places where, well, it's just too dangerous for humans to go.
I see what you mean.
Like the deep oceans of Europa.
Jupiter's moon?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Scientists think there could be life under that icy shell.
Wow, that'd be incredible. Sending a probe to another world, looking for alien life in an ocean.
Exactly. It'd be quite a challenge, obviously, but AI could make it possible. Imagine robotic probes with advanced AI systems navigating those waters, collecting data, searching for signs of life, all without humans needing to, be there in person.
So AI could be our surrogate explorer, going places we can't.
Precisely. And not just distant moons either. Think about navigating asteroid fields, maybe even finding valuable resources out there, or, helping us set up a permanent base on Mars.
Speaking of Mars, G.D. Poole mentioned AI potentially guiding those first human steps on the red planet. What did he mean by that?
Well, landing humans on Mars, that's a huge GE undertaking.
No kidding.
There's so much to consider: where to land safely, how to make sure they have the resources they need.
I can imagine that sounds unbelievably complicated.
It is, but that's where AI can come in. It can analyze data about the Martian surface, help pick the best landing spots, plan routes for rovers, maybe even assist with conducting scientific experiments.
So it's like having an AI mission control working 24/7.
Exactly. Taking care of, I guess you could say, the busy work. That way the human controllers can focus on the big picture stuff.
It all sounds very promising.
Mhm.
But I have to ask, what about the risks? I mean, what happens if something goes wrong with the AI?
Mm-hmm.
Especially in space, that could be a big problem.
Right, and that's a valid concern. It's why we have to focus on building AI systems that are, extremely reliable, robust, and able to handle unexpected situations. There always needs to be some kind of safeguard. The humans should always have the final say on those critical decisions.
So finding that balance between the power of AI and, keeping humans in the loop.
Exactly. Plus, we can't ignore the ethical side of things. As AI gets more sophisticated, as it starts making more decisions on its own, we have to think about the implications. We need clear guidelines for how these AI systems should behave.
It sounds like space exploration is entering a whole new era, powered by AI with incredible potential, but some big challenges too.
I agree. And it's not just about the technology itself. We have to think about the ethical and philosophical questions that come with it.
It's a good reminder that space exploration isn't just about, rockets and robots. It's about expanding our understanding of who we are and our place in the universe.
Well said. And who knows, maybe as we explore the cosmos with AI by our side, the biggest discoveries won't be about planets or stars, but about intelligence itself.
That's an interesting thought. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into Jay Poole's look at how NASA is using AI. But before we go, I want to leave you with a question. What do you think the future holds for this partnership between humans and AI in space? And how will it change our understanding of the universe and even ourselves? Thanks for joining us on this exploration, and keep looking up at the stars.
The future of space exploration is certainly exciting.